Okay, 2006 Cayenne. Never had an issue before. Went yesterday to put the key in and start the truck. Wouldn't start. Ignition lock faulty. And then there's also, when you push on the brake, there's a brake proportioning valve. Light comes on. And you can't take it out of park or start it. Nothing can be done. Anyway, we had major rain the last few days. So anyway, I came in and plugged in my OBD reader, and while I was plugging it in, I leaned on the carpet and it was soaked. So this is just the carpet with the foam on it. I've peeled it back. You just pull it out and roll it back. And under here, there's a cover like this. You pop the cover up, and this will be covered. This wiring, I've cut and slid the sock back. There's a protective sock that goes down over top of all that wiring. You have to cut a few zip ties that hold it down, and you're going to find some wiring in here that's going to be suspect. So these are CAN bus wires. See the green on the end? Corrosion. Because this was all soaked. This was all sitting in water. This is still so wet that I can squeeze drops of, well, I can't as much anymore, but see the water in my hand. I left it with the windows open. It's been hot today, so trying to dry it out a little bit. Got an air hose in here to unblock the sunroof drain, which is probably the issue. I poured water in the sunroof drain and found water dripping down here, meaning it's just sitting in there and pooling. Your sunroof drain is up right in this back corner, and I can blow through it with the compressor. I pulled my A-pillar trim off. There's a little cover there. You pull that off, and then I think it's a T25 Torx bolt to pull it off, and then you just unclip the A-pillar cover, and this is the hose that goes down. If you pull up on this a little bit, you can see where it attaches to that black hose. They're welded and glued together, so those don't come apart. And that goes down under here. Once you've clipped all these zip ties, the wiring harness bundle will be able to be moved out of the way. And then you can pop the insulation out. It's not going to be easy to do without tearing, but you can see the rubber. Where is it? Let me just grab it. I popped it back in the drain hole. Good God. There it is. There's a rubber drain tube that goes out underneath. Sorry, I'm in your way, but I'm in my way too. I'm just going to move it out so you can see it. You probably can't. Unfortunately, let me try and get this out and I'll give you a better look. Okay, I hope you can see this good enough. That's the drain tube, the big round one there. I've pulled it out of the hole on the firewall, which you can just see behind it. See the hole? That's where it pops out of. It's like a little grommet, and I'm blowing that out with the air compressor hose. It's a bitch to get in there to it. And I've snipped the end off. It's like a duck bill on the end, so it traps crap in there and can't get out. So I've snipped that a little wider. I'm going to snip it wider even. It goes underneath. There's nothing going to come back under there, through there. Maybe a cockroach or an earwig or some nastiness. So anyway, I can put the air compressor into it. And blow, and that's coming up through the hose and up into the sunroof. Now you can also pour a little bit of water in that corner of the sunroof and watch it come out. I'm going to put a bucket in here and do that and let it drain through. You should see it draining under the car, not into your car, but that was plugged and draining into here. So now all you have to do is go through all these wires that are crimped together like this and then taped. I don't know if that's factory or not. But there's that one. There's an orange and red this one here. There's an orange and red. There's another black one. I believe these are all CAN bus wires. And if you can see the tip, that's green corrosion. That means water has gotten into there. And best to solder these things if you don't have a soldering gun. Crimp the crap out of them and wrap the crap out of them. Just these ones that are, I don't think there's any more than that. There's 1, 2, 3, I believe. No, there's a brown one as well. I did see a brown one somewhere. There it is. So I'm going to redo all of those. Any green on the tip of that? Not really. And then wrap all that up and stick it back in. Once I figure out, make sure that it starts. I'm going to redo these again. You just pull the electrical tape that's on there off, reconnect those two wires. And God knows why they come out and go back. Like, really? Why can't that just be one wire? I don't know. Well, there's 3 of them. And dry out all this stuff and then push that vent tube back in there. But first I'm going to run some water through and make sure it pops out. This insulation is going to tear on you. When it's soaked, it's not easy to pull out without tearing it. It's just sound deadening. It's foam rubber, like a Halloween mask is made of. It's not cosmetic. It's not any big deal. It's just sound deadening and never visible anywhere. Ugh, it looks like a mess under here, and it is a mess under here. Anyway, I'll be back with some, hopefully, solutions. Okay, so we got the drain issue solved, and the rubber plug is plugged back in, up in there. You can remove your inner fender shield inside the driver's side, the plastic inner fender shield, and get to it as well, but it's like 10 bolts and stuff. You're already under here for the wiring. Might as well just go through it through here. So now we're going to work on the wiring. Where's the one I just cut open? Green is corrosion on copper. So I just stripped back a little bit of the tape or whatever that's on there, the rubber coating that's on there. Come on, focus, 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 focus. Not on my finger on that. Anyway, I'll cut that all open and we'll take a look. Well, 2 seconds after the last clip, I went to slightly pull on this and it just came apart. There was no connection in there whatsoever. It's completely rotted. So I'm just going to snip all of these. Every single one that's double connected like this, I'm just going to snip the wires off. Not even going to look inside. Strip the wires, solder them, and then heat shrink them all. Back in a sec. So cut and soldered the brown one, and we're just going to do all the others and then heat shrink them. I don't think I need to videotape heat shrinking. I'm going to heat shrink, fold back the top, and then heat shrink again. Like double layer of heat shrink just to make sure no water ever gets in this again. And then I'm going to use liquid electrical tape in the end where the water could possibly get in. It's just paint on. It's called a liquid electrical tape. I'll show you when I get to that point. Okay, I've already started the car because as soon as I reconnected this brown wire, those lights that were on the dash that were on whether I had the key in or not went off. Stuck the key in, touched the brake pedal with my foot, and boom, started up no problem. So the brown wire is the issue, but I'm going to do all of them just in case. But that brown wire, what it could say, brake proportioning valve, and ignition system faulty, I think it said. Ignition key faulty or key ignition faulty, something like that. Anyway, now starts. So let's do all the other wires. And what I said about heat shrinked. Sorry about the beeping. Let's turn that off. Oh, I can't because the battery's almost dead. Heat shrinked it the first time and then folded the end over and then heat shrinked a second time. When you're done with your heat shrink, if you've got an open connection like this, pinch the end and it will seal so no water can get in there. And I'm just going to use a liquid electrical tape on this end to make sure that's sealed and then nothing can get in there again. But I'm going to have to do this. You can see the black wire has corrosion in there. Okay, so it's basically all these Siamese wires that are the problem. I could not find a crack in any of these other wires, but when that brown wire went back together, everything was fine after that. So I've got black, brown, the large black, which I took off, cleaned. It was crimped on there really good and still had really good connection, so I just sealed it again. And the liquid electrical tape, I can't find my black. I'm pretty sure I lent it to my neighbor a few weeks ago when we were doing his jacuzzi. And it's a little messy. This is red. It comes in black, red, and I believe yellow, but black and red for sure. And then you can use it just like electrical tape. I just want to brush it on and seal the ends. So that you can also just use like silicone caulking, anything that's going to get in there and seal them. I'm using this because I've got it. Anyway, after all this, we're going to button everything back up and we are good to go, all done. Just putting everything back together is going to be a bit of a time. When you're taking this sock off that covers the wires, just slid it a little bit at the bottom and then slide it up. And then you can slide it back down. It protects all the wires. And wrap everything up good. And now I think that's it. I can't remember the codes this covers. Because there was like 30 on my OBD scanner. There was like 30 on them and I didn't take a snapshot of it, so I don't know what codes it covers. But again, the ignition, brake proportioning valve. There's also one on the other side too. There's one on the passenger side. There's one of these wiring bundles. So if your passenger side is getting soaked and you're having weirdo problems, it could be it on the other side. If you got the time, pull the carpets, take a look, see if they're wet. Check those wires. These sistered together wires, I don't understand why a double wire is connected in that way from the factory. I really don't. I don't know if that's factory or not. Maybe this was some kind of change somewhere through. But I didn't have any small electrical connectors, so I just connected them the way they were again. I didn't have any shrink to fits, tiny ones. So I would have just used shrink to fits on those. But the red one, the red and yellow wire, that's 3 into 1. So it's that'd be a little bit tougher to do. You still use a shrink to fit on that. But I'm going to keep them like this so I know it just was simple doing it this way. Anyway, thanks for watching.